Yes. There we go. Thanks, Danielle.
You're
See the
welcome.
other link that was checked to do automatically. So, okay. I love technology. It's the best. Yeah. All right. Extreme weather. So, um, so what we're doing is y'all started talking about, or we started talking about extreme weather last in our last meeting, and Lisa had the brilliant idea of putting it all together so that we'll have a resource in the library. So what we want to do is extend that and continue talking and kind of firm up those ideas so that we can create this resource for other FDMs to have when they're working in extreme weather, because I think that's our new norm, right? Extreme weather for everybody. Um, so with that, I'm going to open it up. Um, I don't have I don't have my notes from last meeting.
You want me
So
to? I have them.
do you have them? I mean,
I
I
do.
do somewhere in all my stuff here because I write
Do you want
stuff
me to try
down.
to share my screen and show the?
Yeah, let's see here. Let me let you. Um, Post tools, enable rating room,
Usually,
let me.
if Lisa just hits share screen, it'll
Oh,
pop
it'll
up and
work.
allow
Okay.
it. When
All
it'll
right.
click like you can click
Oh,
allow.
I can get, okay. Got it.
There you go.
Okay,
Oh, there we go.
let's see. Let's see if I can find it. Hold on. Inside Edition PDF. Here we go.
Oh, that's what it was called. Okay. That's why I couldn't find it.
Okay. So this was all of the ideas that the members, the licensed members came up with in the meeting. When was it? A couple weeks ago?
A couple weeks ago, yeah.
So I jotted them all down and just put them into this form. And Jamie, I sent it out to the library division so that we can use it as a resource. So Jamie had requested that if we can tie, if you, first of all, if you have any extra ones that you would like to add, let us know. And she requested that we tie these back to the five domains and how they encourage behavioral diversity. I don't have an ethogram handy, but if we could somehow, tie these also to specific ethograms, that would be really
I
helpful too.
I have the
And
ethogram
she,
right here.
oh, perfect. And she asked, is the activity a deposit or a withdrawal for welfare? So, um, I'll let you take over, Dolores.
Okay. I will. So let's start with let's do this. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna try capturing. Okay. I'm going to share my screen now so we can. There we go. Okay, can y'all see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so behavioral diversity. So we're going to do that. And then where
Wait, I can't
did.
see your screen. How do I see your
Oh,
screen?
you can't
I
see my screen?
I can see your screen. If
You
Hold
you
can
go
see
on.
up
mine.
to the top, Lisa, it'll say like Dolores Carter's
Oh,
screen,
okay.
Lisa's
Yes, I
screen. So
got
you
it.
can click.
Okay.
Okay. And then I have, where did it go? I just did a screenshot of yours. Of course, I can't find it. I have too much on my screen. Okay, so let's just start with scent work. Let's do that because we all know what scent work is.
Okay.
Or no, we're not. Let's start with, let's go back down here. Yeah, scent work. Okay, so scent work is one of those things that we talked about last week or last time as an indoor behavior, an extreme behavior. So let's talk about that in terms of behavioral diversity, and that'll be easy because that was the very first thing that popped up is some work. So I'll just scroll through and we can say yes, no, or expand on it for each behavior. How's that? So does that make sense? That
So
Did you
I'm,
create? Did you
are
Do you
we
have
create?
a
looking at taking like scent work
Mhm.
and breaking it down into what possible behaviors we would see? Is that what
Yes.
you're saying? Okay.
Yes. Lisa, is that what you understood the library
So I
division?
think she's asking for two things. I think one, she's asking us to identify which domain it fits into, like interaction with environment. I would guess would be like scent work.
Mhm.
Um, and also pairing it with these
Okay.
ethograms.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. All right. So let's start with so with scent work, let's start with the welfare model. Where does that fit in?
So it would fit in,
Environment?
yeah, I would say
Yeah.
interaction with environment. But it
Mhm.
could also fit in with interaction with human, depending on what kind of scent work you're doing, as far as
Right.
is it,
Or other animals too,
yeah,
if
I mean,
there's
so
smell in other animals too.
Hmm.
it could also technically fit in with nutrition if you're doing a scent
Yep.
work like a scent and find. So I think
Okay.
this, I mean, because if you're doing a scent work where like sometimes what I'll have clients do, like for my like hound dog clients that live
Oh yeah.
in like a fairly sterile environment, is I'll have them
Hmm.
take like a stinky like pepperoni, tie it in something, and then drag it around and create a trail and then hang it. So they follow the thing. And for my clients that have like a big house, like they
I
can do it
love
inside
that.
and then they can track it. Like I'll
Okay.
have them get like a new treat that they haven't had before. So it's not something that's a a common scent in the house. It's like a new like air fried minnow or something where they can drag it and then they hide it and then it's let's go find, and they see the hound dog will search the house. And some of my clients have like really big monstrous houses, so they can go like 3 floors, and it's like a 10,000 square foot house, and they're going every which way. And then when they find it, the dog gets to eat it. Like it's not necessarily a meal, but it's definitely like an interaction. And then the owner gets super excited, and then it's a fun, you know, game for the dog. And then they can use the same trail for a couple days until the cleaners come, and then the cleaners wash all the scent away.
But
But
see, when you talk about it that way, well, and even with scent work, we're also talking about physical fitness, health.
yeah, I would
You
put,
know?
but I wouldn't put it as much in physical fitness because it's not. To me, I don't look at it as a physical activity because yes, they're moving, but technically they're moving all the time. Like it's not
Right.
a coordinated movement, if that makes sense. It's like they're just kind of some of the dogs go a little bit slow. My hound dogs, I mean, they run as fast as they can. Yes, it would
Right.
be, but like for like my little dogs, they're not necessarily running as fast. It's more just like they're doing more like the air sniffing and the track scenting and and then they might do like if the owner buries it like in some like in a Rubbermaid full of blankets, the dog has
Hmm.
to dig. So then so I don't look at it as much physical as I do like a mental thing, just because it's not.
Okay.
But that's my personal opinion. I mean, I'm
So I'm
obviously.
thinking about like senior dogs where,
Mhm.
right, that's is their exercise instead of like a leash walk, right?
Yeah, that
Yeah.
could.
Hmm. So,
Yeah.
okay. All right.
Dolores, is this from the app or did you create this document?
No, this is Kim's, not mine.
This
Yeah,
is
this
from
is from
the
the app.
game.
Yeah.
This is from the game that we did at Aggression and Dogs and APDT. And like it's you watched, there was a bunch of videos that Kim, like little
Mhm.
videos of early doing things, and then we would play the video and people would mark which videos they saw which behaviors, and then they turned it in, and then we graded it and they got a prize.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
These are great.
This will be available in the app once it's ready.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, but for I think for scent work, I mean, it's something you could break down even farther into
Mhm.
like, can you scroll down a little bit, Lisa, on your so that I can see like the full thing?
On mine,
Yeah.
Oh,
hold on.
we'll just be going back and
Wait, let me
forth.
move it.
Let's see. I wonder.
Why is it not moving? Hold on.
I may have to click on it, maybe.
Yeah, it's not moving for me.
Oh, hold on. Let me stop my share.
I think it just is, but it's just so that I can see. Because I think too, like I do with
There we go.
Hold on. Let me
the
view this differently.
like with scent work too, I mean I don't do nose work like as an official sport, but like I have a nose work kit. And so like I'll do like, again for owners who maybe can't walk their dog, I do more physical where it's like hide like once we start pairing that scent with the treat, it's as how fast can the dog get to the scent, find it and run back.
Hmm.
So that one to me is a little bit more, but I do that I don't usually do that inside. I usually do that outside, so it's not really fit for extreme weather.
Hold on. I'm going to try this again because I can't move it for some reason. There we
Well,
go.
I just pulled it up too, Lisa. So
Okay.
Oh,
if we
perfect.
need to. All right.
Okay. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but I think
So,
scent work, I mean, you could definitely pair that into, depending on the activity, like you could break that down into almost every one of the
yes.
domains.
Yep. Yep.
So
Yes.
I think even breaking it down into what it looks like for each domain wouldn't be a bad idea.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a great idea.
And like take the paw print and put like scent work and then where what activities it's like you could do within each little paw print.
Yeah. Because if you look at like
Hmm.
go find it, hide and seek, those all use scent.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Um,
Yep.
so yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at the other stuff too, like the socialization stuff. But yeah, I mean, scent work I think is across the board for sure. Yeah.
Lisa, did this list come up with one of your, I'm sorry, I just feel like I'm lost here. Did this list come up in one of your meetings? Is that how this
Yes.
was
So the
presented?
last think tank that I did a couple weeks ago, the topic was um, giving your dog total welfare in adverse
Oh,
environmental situations.
okay.
So it's been so cold, it's been so hot, you can't take her, it's been pouring out, whatever. You can't get your dogs outside. What are some indoor things that you can do with your dog? And the group members all came up with different ideas that I just jotted down. And I said, let's do a list with this and I'll give it to Jamie and see if they can maybe make this into something that can be distributed to all the members.
Mhm.
And I
Good.
will also, when it's done, post it in the training division Facebook page so that everybody can look at it.
So I
But
kind of that go find it. I teach find it pretty quickly with all the dogs that I work with. And so I have a handout that's called Backyard Adventures. Because a lot of my seniors aren't going to walk their dog. And so some of them in the 55 and over community that I go to, they have fenced backyards. And so I've given them a list of items that they can use to put like treats in there or spray some whipped cream or something like that and like set it up for the dog and then open the drawer and tell them to go find it so they can at least get some mental enrichment and exercise that way. But I just called it backyard adventures. And then when we're too hot, they can mimic that same concept inside and using like Tupperware bowls or cleaned out like cottage cheese bowls or yogurt or things like that, and they can just hide it around the house to do the same thing.
yeah,
So along the same lines of things. Yeah.
yeah.
You just
Um,
cottage cheese and my dog's tail started wagging. She's like, oh, we're getting some food.
Yeah, you say better here and everybody's ears goes up.
That's funny. Yeah, I think I left a couple off here.
Yeah,
I'm
this
looking at
is
my list that I wrote down. I'm looking
Yeah.
at what I wrote down here and I missed a couple, but that's okay. We can add them on.
Well, and I know too, like for the shelter division, we have been working on like a giant packet of basically it's like things you can do with shelter dogs for cheap or free and like it's like the tools, like the not tools, the oh my gosh, my brain. Um, like what you would need to do this task. So like if you're trying to work on like a perching, like making sure the dog has like maybe putting a crate on a bed so that like the dog has that and breaking down. So it might not be a bad idea to do something similar where it's like scent work. Here's what it is, here's the things it does, here's some activities and like what you would need and like almost make it like a like mini hack sheet, but it's like a little
Yeah.
booklet of
Mm-hmm.
because that's something that I mean people could hand to their like you could almost make it into a book that people could hand to their clients of like or even like a down like a PDF or like whatever. It doesn't have
Yeah.
to be a physical book, but like where they can go like look at all of these things that you can do with your dog in these extreme weather situations
Mhm.
and then using like this stuff and like why it's important. Like breaking down like why is this piece important? What does this fulfill? Like what needs? And then it goes back to the behavioral diversity ethogram and it breaks down the individual pieces within that ethogram of like here's the things that ticks because then if you pair it with the app, it would help like if they have the
Mm-hmm.
app, it helps people pair it with the activity, like the things that they're checking in the app. Like it's
Right.
almost like it all could come together if we, really kind of dive into this. Like you could really, I mean, this could be something super, super helpful that goes along with the app for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can start, I mean, I do something like that with my clients. I do give them handouts. I like how to feed your, fun ways to feed your dog. So it's a whole list of how to feed your dog other than from a bowl,
Yeah.
which is similar. I break it all down. I don't go into the whole total welfare thing with them, but a lot of the activities are kind of like what we were discussing here.
Yeah.
Um,
But I think that would be really cool.
okay.
I mean,
We can,
because it could be a living, I look at it as like, it could be like a living resource, like a living thing where it's like every time it's like everyone can add to it, just like a
Mhm.
giant Google Doc where people can
yeah,
have suggestions and stuff, and then you can go through and look at it. But um, ouch. Um, yeah, but I love food games with dogs. It's my favorite.
okay. So the scent work then we had interaction with humans, with
Mhm.
animals, and with the environment, and also nutrition.
Hmm.
Okay. And
And
I think,
physical exercise, again, depending on
Yeah.
what
Depending
you're,
on how you do it. Yeah.
it could
right.
be physical
Yeah.
exercise.
Okay. And the
Can
other
I,
question she wanted us to ask is the activity a deposit or withdrawal for welfare? I don't really know what that means. Because I would think everything would be a deposit.
Well, not well.
Well, I think
Right.
for the purposes that we're doing, I think it would mostly be a deposit. But
Right.
if we're talking about um, I don't know, wiping paws or safety or something, that might be a withdrawal. But that's not
Okay.
what we're talking about, right?
Right.
Or if you had a multi-dog home and one dog has to wait, that could be a withdrawal.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that I don't know that that really is going to fit so much into this particular
Yeah,
document.
that's what I was wondering too.
Mhm.
Okay.
Um,
So, and then you came up with the indoor parkour.
that's my life. We're just going to walk on the furniture
So
because
that's
it's
similar to what you were
fun.
talking about, Danielle, with putting the crates on top of things for them to jump on.
Mhm.
Yeah, like it was like in the it was we were basically free things you can do in a shelter. The idea with the shelter hack stuff, it was free stuff you can do in a shelter that with things you already have that give the dogs like these opportunities for like hazard avoidance and all that other stuff. So it was like stick a crate in there where it's safe for them to get on top if they want to and or turn it around so that they can go in and hide like
Oops.
that kind of stuff. So
Okay.
um but I
so I, whoops.
Did I
Hi,
lose something?
I, I wondered if anybody has brought up the muffin tin game where you put a treat in the muffin. You have? Okay.
I love
wasn't
that game.
sure. I love it
Yeah.
too. But I wasn't sure if it had already been brought up.
I don't think we wrote it down specifically, but I do remember discussing it.
Yeah.
I think I would put that probably in the scent work, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Or maybe we yeah, no, I think so. Because there are other things like busy boxes, right? Where there's something in the box that they're digging through to find or whatever. Yeah.
Right. Snuffle mats, all that stuff.
Mhm.
Right.
Okay.
So it might honestly, it might make more sense to break it down and like instead of breaking down the activity, well, put the domain and then put the stuff under the domain. Like if that like
Oh, right. So if you have scent work and then under the domain of nutrition, we might have things like snuffling or find it or muffin
yeah, like put
tins.
like take the activity and then break down each domain under the
Yeah,
activity and then list the activity that fits with that domain.
that's a
Okay.
yeah. Okay.
I think that because then it's really easy to like see because if you're only doing one thing, like if you're doing like, oh, I'm doing scent work and I'm doing these two things, we might know like immediately go, oh, you're only hitting nutrition, you're not hitting environment, you're not hitting this, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But like if you're using this as a resource for maybe a lot like because if this is going to be a general FDM, not just a license, people may
Mhm.
not be as well versed in it. And so it gives them a really easy way to go like, oh, if I do these three activities, I'm hitting three domains instead of hitting just this one because I like my dog really likes these activities, but I've never thought of doing these activities. So like taking each thing and breaking it underneath might um, make it more
Yeah.
friendly, but that's not the word I mean. My brain is also dead.
Okay, so in my mind, because I love games, I imagine two things. I imagine bingo cards, right? But I also imagine like this whole thing where you're progressively getting more and more and more, not complex, but you're hitting more and more um, uh, of the domains or including more behavioral diversity as a game for clients to play, right? So you're saying here we're going to do scent work because it's 3 degrees outside. Nobody wants to go outside. You can do snuffles, and that's more like a low end thing, but showing them more of a hierarchy. You can add this and you can add these different things, so it becomes more complex for the client to be able to meet more of the needs, right? So that it becomes hierarchical rather than overwhelming the client with, you can do all of this stuff at once. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, gamify it.
But that would be, I think, where the app would almost come in, where it's already kind
Right.
of
It's
gamifying
yeah,
it.
exactly.
Like if you're using this with the app, and I mean,
Right.
that would be the only like trying to think because I also like making things into games because then when you have competitive clients, you just pit them against each
Yes.
other and they do
Yeah.
all the work and you
They
don't
do
have to worry.
everything,
It's
right? Yeah.
great.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Um, but yeah. But yeah, I think that breaking it down underneath the different things I think would be a helpful visual.
Okay.
Mm.
So I'm jotting down notes while you guys are talking. We could resubmit all of this to Jamie, and the creative crew over there can actually do the
Formatting.
the formatting and the other stuff. Jody, can you hear us now?
It might be your phone.
See her
Yeah.
phone, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So for puppy social, I just like jumping up to the puppy socialization one.
Mhm.
So is this the idea with this one? Because I wasn't at the last meeting because I had the flu.
Oof.
So um is this just more things you can do with your puppy?
Yeah.
Like Okay. So it's
Yeah.
got
So
it.
these were all things that you can do with your, so we started off with some ideas for puppy socialization. How do you socialize your puppy when you really can't get outside, when it's hard to interact with, other dogs, with, sights, smells, and all that other stuff from the outside. I think Shannon had the idea of taking them to parking lots, going shopping. I think Jody was talking about bringing toys from your house to your clients' houses, um, things like that, indoor play dates. So we were coming up with ideas for socialization for puppies, um, when you can't really get outside.
Got it. Okay.
Um, so yeah.
So
So wherever you guys want to start, we can, start just plugging these into the 5 domains.
Because I think like really it's almost to me like two separate resources. Because I feel like most of the things you do for any dog, you could modify for a puppy.
Mhm.
Like, depending on the puppy. Like to me, it's almost like two like puppy socialization and then activities to do with your dog during extreme weather. Like, you know what I mean? Where it's like they're not, to me, they're not the same. Like, because
Right,
you could do any of these with your puppy. Your puppy might not be super like attention span. You might not be able to do, 3 floors of scent work where they go from top to bottom because they'll get distracted and tired. But like you could do the kitchen, or you could do like the
right.
living room. Um, but because I
But
mean,
We can modify it, yes.
yeah. And I think a lot of things for the puppy socialization, you can do that with any age, right? Because it's not like
Hmm.
socialization stops, right?
yeah,
That's something that's got to be maintained. And I know for my clients, even with my own dogs, if it's really cold, we might go for a ride in the car and watch stuff. Um, and that's outside of puppyhood. So um,
because I think it's all good stuff. Like I think that
mhm.
it's almost like
I don't know that we need to separate it out like that, maybe.
yeah,
Just
that's
Okay,
more
have
I think
these
what
are
I was getting.
activities. Yeah. Yeah.
we can amend that.
So thinking about the puppy socialization and even for any dog, and I don't know if this, I guess it could be considered a withdrawal or a deposit depending on the dog, but I've been thinking about a lot about touch, just in regard to cooperative care or in regard to nervous system regulation. So maybe adding something like that in there because when it's even for puppy socialization, when it's cold out, that's stuff that you can do, but it's also good for the dog to get them used to touch and just relaxing also. Um, I don't know if that would be something you guys would consider enrichment, but I've just been thinking about that a lot.
Well, and that touches the human interaction
Right.
piece,
Yeah.
right? In a more pleasant way, we hope, than wiping the paws or
Right.
checking the ears.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yep.
For sure. Okay.
Um, when I think too, like the with the touch stuff too, that could also, well, I guess never mind. I would say that could also be incorporated into pretty much any activity, but like you run into people who have resource guarders who try to then like get their dog all excited and touch them when they find the food. And I just had this visual in my head that maybe that's not a good idea. Maybe we
But
shouldn't put
but
put that.
touch could be like textures too, right? I mean, that you could manipulate the environment to help to
Yeah.
let the dog touch and experience different things, whether it's, bath mats or um, whatever it might be. Um, I mean, my new thing is I just brought a bowl of snow in for one of my dogs because she likes sticking her snout into the snow, but she's picking up her paws because it's cold today. So I just scooped snow and put treats in it, and she's buried her head in it, and she thinks it's great. So I don't know if that's touch or nutrition or environment. I think it's probably all three, but it's a kinesthetic experience.
And I think that goes back to like breaking down like all of these things into like the little individual like in breaking down under there with the domains. That's something that you could almost add in there where it's like human touch versus environment touch. Like,
Yeah.
But I'll be right back. I have to go to the bathroom. They have me on a bunch of steroids for my ankle, and I'm drinking like 2 gallons of water a day, and so I pee like 30,000 times a day.
Come on.
Oh, goodness.
It's okay. It's okay. Okay. I got you. I got you. I got you. I'm gonna put you down now.
So parkour.
Okay. There we
Hardcore.
go.
That's my
Let's
favorite.
talk about that for a little bit.
That can be very physical.
Yep, for sure.
Do you have people mute?
Yeah, we need to mute.
Yes.
I don't know if I can. I can't do it. I think Dolores has to do
Let's
it.
see here. Well, I'm trying to find it here. Oh, wait a minute. I lost everybody. Here we go. Hold on. Oh my God. I
This has been a really bad techie day.
Right?
All around. I had issues this morning too.
There we go.
Hover over their square, do it that way.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay. I think I got it. All right. And I still see everybody. Life is good.
Good.
However, there we go. Okay.
So
Look at
some of you
that.
quiet folks, where are you?
Oh my goodness.
Okay. So the 5 domains, parkour. Let's hear from
All
you
right.
guys. Where does it fit in?
I mean, I think physical and fitness, but maybe it can also be environment too.
Mm-hmm.
It is interaction because the human is often part of it, right? We're spotting the dogs or showing the dogs or doing it with the dogs,
I think all of them. I'm just looking on the list.
Would it fit nutrition though?
I don't think so.
That'd be
I
like the
mean,
only-
you might use treats, but I find that most dogs will do it without any food, right? It's just moving the body. So I don't know. I don't know that I would say nutrition.
yeah. So pretty much all of them except nutrition.
I think so.
Hi, ladies. Sorry, I don't know how I managed to get that time mixed up and then it didn't work and I just gave up. I thought, oh, I probably got the time wrong. But
Oh
I
no, it was
definitely,
me. It was my mistake, Jody, and I apologize. I
well,
don't
my
know what
calendar
planet I'm
too.
on.
Yeah, well, even this is funny because some people I can't hear them speaking at all. I definitely will like to catch up on what I've missed afterwards. I can review it, obviously. But I did just spend the morning with my client who has decided to try some long term right now or longer sessions of me alone with her dog while she's working. And I was doing my chat the whole time, like what she was doing and what I was doing, and how it was working for her. It was really wonderful, because you forget things, these little things, right? Like the micro things. Um, I don't always remember later. So I'll definitely go over this and have some to add. I thought that something that I didn't mention before, and this is even to do with the parkour idea. Parkour. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I'd never heard of that until I got involved with dogs, and of course they like going on things. It's actually super fun to get them to go in and around and up and down and things. But in the winter, it's always nice for them to have somewhere to run and outside. when it's cold like this, I can't say enough about the benefits of having some sort of a track, a line somewhere where they can actually stretch out. And they love jumping into the snow like the one today. So it doesn't even have to be a large place. It's just somewhere to get a little bit of that energy out with the fresh air, which, we just can't say enough about fresh air. Um, and it's a challenge, but sometimes even for my little dogs, like just the 5 minutes, I am lucky. I have a husband who snow plows. Like we have 2 acres and he does tons and that, but even when we lived in the city and had a small place, we just had like a U-shaped and it was great. Like dogs, just that little bit can make such a difference.
Mhm.
I know I was thinking of that. And I'm gonna go over this and see what I can add in our group. I really wanted to put some pictures too. I've just been super busy, lots going on, and it's all good. So I'm excited to add to this for sure.
I think in upstate New York, there is a lot of salt on the sidewalks and in the parking lots, and it's something I think that we need to consider. A lot of people don't think about it, and certainly businesses don't use dog safe salt, at least not around here.
Yeah.
Okay. So I can say for salt, Musher Secret is really good for dogs' paws. It can really help keep the salt and heat also off your dog's paw. So I used to use that with Mise. I would put it all over her paw, in between the paw pads, and the salt didn't get in. It didn't affect her feet. And likewise, heat also did not affect her paw pads. So Mush's Secret for the win if you want to take your dog out in bad weather. It's a really good product. Highly recommend it.
Yeah, I love that stuff. And it makes their feet soft.
Makes your hands soft too.
It's just nice overall. It's great. It's a great product overall.
Good product. Good product. Okay. Go ahead, Dolores. I'll let you go through this.
Are we still in parkour? Is that what we're doing? So
I don't know.
um I think we covered parkour.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay, well, what about like movement games, right? Like flirt poles are movement. And I don't think we have a lot of just fitnessy stuff um for the indoor stuff, but you certainly could do fitness movement games. Um some of it, over under around
Do
um
agility inside. I've done agility inside in the summer.
mhm.
My dog's jumping through hoops. I taught one of my pups to jump through the hoop. It was a Keyshawn, and they need a lot of mental stimulation. So I just used a hula hoop, and we had some yoga mats and taught the dog how to run and jump through the hoop. Dog loved it. It was too hot to do it outside.
Yeah, hoopers are really nice for that too. If you have a bigger dog, like
Or a
I got,
senior dog.
yeah, I got hoopers so that they would fit. And those are nice indoors too.
You can also take pool noodles together for dogs that like with like the rattling, like some of the hula hoops have like the rattle in it where like it
Mhm.
shakes and all that stuff. And pool noodles work really well. Yeah, I like
I
how
uh, I like cavalettis, yeah. I wove or I tied pool noodles together to make a platform, right? It was just a different texture for the dogs to walk on. But you can also hide things in it. So yeah, I love pool noodles are great.
I went to the dollar store recently and they had these things. And so I've been making little cavaletti poles for a couple of the really fearful dogs that I'm working with, where we have to start indoors. We've got veterinary behaviorists on board too. But this is a way for me to carry all kinds of really easy equipment in and out.
That's so fun.
That is
So
so cool.
Hey, I'm taking notes.
Yeah, I am too.
This is like stop at dollar store, get
Right.
noodles.
You know what else is fun inside is cone games. I do a lot of fun
Yeah.
agility and cone. I love cones. I'm addicted to cones.
Yeah.
And they can be really fun for dogs.
For those of you who are just joining us, don't feel like you missed a ton. There was a snafu with the meeting times, and so we've been in here for a little bit. So if you're like, oh my gosh, you guys covered a lot in 2 minutes, it's because we've been in here for a minute. So like, don't panic that you missed a bunch of stuff. Or that you're like really late because we
Right.
had
We're
a little
not.
snafu
Yeah.
with the links. So we didn't get that this far in 2 minutes. Don't think we're that efficient.
And to do with puppy socialization, noise and sounds are really something to think about too. This client,
Yeah.
I can't believe that I told you, I really want to sit down with her because she does play therapy with children. She's a doctor. And I had a quick discussion this morning about noise. And I said, maybe you need to put some background noise on in the house because it's a big house. There's echoey, there's not a lot of carpets. And she said, oh, I don't think it'll make much difference. And I had to, I'm sitting there. So I'm sitting with this stuff, right? And I'm like, gosh, like dogs are so sound sensitive. So I sound is, and so with this dog, I was able to watch how she was reacting when I had the heater as a background noise and the music was on. And when she started falling asleep, I was doing things to see how she was dealing with that, right? Like how her rest was. And I think it's healthy for them to hear different things and to silence can be very loud.
It's like
How's that?
babies. If you have a baby and they never hear any noise when they're sleeping, and then they can't sleep unless it's like dead silent with a sleep machine, versus like one of my nieces, she was obviously not the first baby. She was like, the second or third. She like could sleep at like Disney World. Like she took a nap in a stroller at Disney World because like sounds didn't bother her because she was so versus my other niece who needs a sound machine and the perfect like, background noise and the fan has to be like she can't sleep unless it's silent. So, yeah, I totally agree. I think sounds are underrated and that a lot of people don't do enough without them.
That's
Especially if you have someone who hasn't had children, right? Like having had children, I recognize the value of not tiptoeing around as soon as the child falls asleep. Um, but yeah, it's really people don't even think of this stuff, right? It's just
Um,
education.
Something I was going to say for the indoor movement is doggy dancing.
yeah.
Put
Yes.
on some music, move around, get the dogs to follow toys or your body with you. And it can also be really great if you're on one of those dark gray days when you basically can't get out of bed because of how crappy the weather is. You put on your favorite song for 5 minutes and you can even do a little scattering or whatever, get the toys out and do some movement. That's fun for everybody,
I love that.
except for
You
love
maybe a
that.
mini Aussie.
You could almost turn that if you go back to like the ethergram, that could almost fall into, depending on if you're using toys or stuff, you could almost use like stocking and like, like
Yeah.
pound, like all those other things and check a bunch of boxes under there too, as far as like depending on how you're dancing, what you're using, like the breed you're like dancing with. Because like my mastiff, if I dance with her, she just wants to bite my hands and like tackle. Like she's like, no, we're not doing movements, we're doing wrestling. Let's full body wrestle. And it's like, well, no, let's like have fun. She's like, no, this is fun. I wanna bite your hands and I wanna pull you to the ground. It's like, okay, well, we can do that too, I guess. But you could definitely check with the doggy dancing a bunch of the like stalking behaviors and stuff like that and chase behaviors even.
Hmm.
Love that.
Absolutely. My dogs love dance and music. They get very excited when I put the music on and start moving. I also thought about being aware of, well, I like the stations ideas, right? Like having stations really can help, but they just love it. But somewhere to calm down, like make sure that there's somewhere like and I find every dog is different, but where they would like to settle, whether it's on the couch or on the floor or just thinking about that too, right? Like where they take little breaks and appreciating that with them, the calmness, it really can help.
Mm.
I bet you we could make this a lot bigger.
We are making this a lot bigger. I'm taking notes. It's falling off. I'm on my
Yep.
second page here.
Yep.
I have to say, I decided today play is powerful, and I am going to be doing a promotion on, and we're going to be looking at working with play and seeing how that works with getting clients. But I don't know. When I say play, it's a big word.
The deeper dive this week too, on Wednesday is on play styles between the different breed groups. So
Yeah.
it'll be super. It's gonna be Kim's got some good videos that we're gonna like watch and do comparison of like herding dogs versus guardian dogs and how they play and what's meeting those needs and that. So that's actually for this Wednesday.
I can't wait. I think I'm gonna miss it because I have an appointment at, yeah, darn, but I'll have to catch
It'll
up.
be recorded. It'll be in the library once it's done.
It's such good stuff, you guys.
I do. I rely on play all the time. I'm lucky in that it's at my fingertips all the time. And so I'm probably a little lazy compared to you guys in terms of what I offer because I so easily can offer my own dogs, bring clients together, get my clients together. And you see, this is happening here. This is a little foster puppy we got yesterday. This is my dog Clover and a little foster puppy. And my dog is doing all the work here. We're stuck inside, but Clover is busy fostering this puppy for me. And the puppy's here because he was exhibiting some resource guarding at his house, and these people gave him up. They had him for a month and gave him up because they were so scared because he was biting them and stuff. And I don't mean to make fun of it. I don't know what was happening for them, but I just think a whole lot of his needs are getting met at this house because there's so much canine life happening here. And that is why I haven't seen this stuff showing up. And I am actually going to try to recreate it a little bit because I need to see. But anyway, I rely on play. I really do. I just think boy, if you're lucky enough to be able to find and carve out those play situations, oof, that takes so much of the work off your shoulders. Goodness, just, ooh.
So I could never have one dog. Like I can only have like my like limit is like I need four and I need four different dogs with four different plays so that everybody has a play friend at a different time whenever they need it, like depending on what the needs are. And
different styles, like you've got chasers, you've got wrestlers, you've got like ones that just want to sit and chew together, the hanger. Yeah.
Yeah, I've decided that like I can never have like just like one dog again. Like I need at least three. Like that is like the minimum I can have to like for
one of my best friends, she has done rescue work forever and she's always had multiple dogs. And now she's done with rescue. Now she's showing dogs and going to start breeding and whatnot. But she found her ideal is 6. At various ages, she gets a new puppy every 2 to 3 years. And 6 dogs for her makes it so that she can take adventures with just 1 or 2 of them. The others have plenty to do. And it's amazing.
Yep. Yeah, no, it's funny. I do think you find out we keep ending up at 4 and we don't mean to end up at 4, but we always keep ending up at 4. So
yeah.
Well, we had 1 because I used to board and foster, and my dog made it very clear she did not enjoy sharing the home with other dogs past a certain point. So we had 1 dog for many years. We'll see what happens next.
Yep.
I say 4 is too many. I have 4. It's too many. The last foster fail changed everything. And I still don't have my big border collie or something to play outside with.
Yeah. So, I mean, it does, of course, depend on one can feel like 30. So like it depends on the mix, right? So
Mildred I always tell her that she would be best as a single dog because she's like a monster. But the other 3, it's like they're like currently all the 3 of them are in my office, like laying all together, like, and like my 2 senior dogs, like watching them play, like it's so cute because they've grown up together, and so it's like they'll like pounce each other for like 3 seconds, yell and like mouth wrestle, and then sleep for like 6 hours. I'm like, oh.
And that's the thing. I just feel like the quality of sleep you get after real play just seems to indicate just how much that did for them on every level. And so that's always my go-to. If I can possibly get a client's dog playing with somebody, even if it's just hanging, even if it's just walking around the block with another dog, I just think, if they can be smelling together. And I just feel like they watch each other, like while we're walking together, just being aware there's another dog on the walk heightens their whatever boxes that's ticking for them in ways that I don't understand, but I can just tell it's a bigger experience.
That would be another interesting kind of research or resource to create is like it would be more focused on the dog interaction.
Yep.
And like where that like what that looks like and how to do it safely. And like if you have a dog that doesn't like dogs, it doesn't mean you can't do this. It just means it has to be, a parallel walk or, muzzle trained so that everybody's comfortable, something where it's like just existing together. But that would be another cool resource to put together.
I think it's absolutely huge. I think if people helped their clients learn to walk together on lead, and that means, because they bail too quickly. Like if you have two people try to give it a try, and it feels hard because of course the first 10 minutes are ridiculous and terrible, and they're trying to get tangled or they're barking and lunging. But if you can walk with them and offer that as a service, that you'll accompany them on this walk that looks really stupid for 20 minutes and then do it again the next day. And guess what? Now it's just the first 5 minutes that are super weird and you're starting to get closer together. And it doesn't really take that long. And often these people who have what they think are incredibly reactive dogs don't think that this will work for them because their experience is that if they're anywhere near another dog on a lead, it's going to be a nightmare. It's not. If you give them the ability to, just guide them, like stick with it. I know this looks bad. Stick with it. We're not feeling. This is part of the process. Then do it again the next day. Like the third day, like it's sometimes those two neighbors are ready to do it on their own. I just think that's so worth pursuing as an industry is teaching people how to do that because I do think they get a lot out of it. Then sometimes they can walk together and become friends and go play at each other's houses at the end. Like it can get people who think that they have dogs that cannot be around other dogs realizing that is not at all true and they just needed a slower intro and they just need some walks together. But if you never even get past the walks together where you pee on the same bush, it's still a big thing that you've given them.
Yeah, I agree. I think like I use Mildred a lot for that because as much as she's a problem at my house, I can trust her with client dogs 100%. Like I could literally put her with any dog at a client and she'd be like, "Oh, I'm so well behaved and I've never ever started a fight in my life." I'm like, "Oh, great. Only at the house with your siblings. Phenomenal." So I use her all the time because I think she knows she gets to leave. Like I think she knows, like, because I say, so like we're going to work and I use a special leash, and she goes like, "Oh, it's a work, it's work. They're not coming home. Like we're not
stuck with them."
Yeah. So she'll like let dogs be really rude to her, and she'll just be like, "Okay," and she just ignores it and keeps walking. And like I've had so many dogs where, especially clients that were trying to pass like CGC or like a TDI test or something like that, who were struggling, like she was able to box them into like you don't have to do anything. Like sometimes the dog's going to ignore you, and so it's really not worth it to even try to act like an idiot.
Right.
So yeah, I think
That's so
I
good.
agree. I think that's such an underrated service that people could definitely even if you incorporate it into your whatever you're working on as a training.
Yeah, I think it's a hard sell. I think it's, if you're asking people to spend however much per hour and stuff, it's a little bit of a harder sell because it's not an obvious benefit to them. So you they have to trust you to pay you for that particular service.
Or do it like a half and half. Like I've done that with clients where it's like we're going to spend half the walk training and then we're going to spend the other half walking, and then we end or start walking so the dog gets out and isn't quite so amped up. Like I've done that too with clients where it's like a half walk, half train, and because then they're like, "Oh, can we just do the walking part?" I'm like,
right.
Phenomenal.
Yes.
Yeah, I would love that.
I think it's so huge. Yeah, I push my clients so hard. It's like, let's get outside. I just canceled an appointment on Friday. The clients would have had me over, but it was cold and windy. It was our third session, and we need to get out in front of dogs. And I called them, and I'm like, I will still come over. I'll do whatever ever you need, but I know where we need to work, and I don't think we should waste this session. And they're like, yeah, you're right. You're right. You know what I mean? Because it's like they keep trying to focus on me fixing the stuff at home. It's like, no, what you need is to get your dog out. And
Right.
we haven't had the weather for me to help you with that. So the
Yeah.
moment that happens, that's what we're going to do because it will change your life.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do think that that's another cool resource. Like once we get this one put together, that like how to really focus in on that canine. Because that's the other thing. Did we talk about it in the Q&A? I can't remember. We recently talked about it somewhere in some meeting about how like the social connections of like building like the canine, it's not going to the dog park and playing with a different dog every time. It's finding that one dog to walk with, to do these things with and build that social relationship with.
Yep.
So I think that could be definitely something that we could all brainiacs put
I
together.
really think that's right. That's huge to me.
Yeah.
Nope.
I'm with Carrie. I've had to put a lot of my clients on hold for the past several weeks because we do need to get outside and do walks. My neighbor across the street just got a puppy. I was boarding my next door neighbor's dog, who's the sweetest, most easygoing. Her name is Easy, actually. And she is the most easygoing dog ever. And I said, you know what? Just call Julia and play with Easy inside since we can't get outside because she's such a great role model for puppies. She just goes with the flow. She's just a really good dog. Um, you know, and that kind of comes full circle to what we are talking about. Like, if you can't get outside, what can we do inside to help these dogs out? Because it really is a struggle for a lot of them.
Yeah.
They can't really get their needs met. So we kind of have to figure out ways to do that with them. I love going to our preserve with dogs, different clients and meeting up there and doing walks through the woods because so many things are happening at one time. They're learning to be together, but their focus isn't so much on each other because there's so much else out there that they
Yes.
are interested in. Um, so it really kind of helps them get rid of some of that excess anxiety or whatever else is going on with them. And they're focusing on the chipmunk that's running across the field. And they're not really so much paying attention to the other dog, even though they know that dog is there.
I think that's a huge point. I think that's what people miss sometimes when they think about doing this. The owners, they're really focused about the two dogs being on a walk together. That's not what we're thinking about. We're just being in the environment. There happens to be another dog, and you got to get the owners to really understand that. And going to a new place with different smells that's an ideal way to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been really helpful. It really has. So we
That's
just have to get rid of all the snow so we can do it again.
Then it's going to be mud for a really long
It
time.
will. It will. It will be mud for quite some time.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Okay.
Yep.
So I might have missed it. Were there any of the other like I know we kind of jumped to like the puppy stuff but are there any other are we just looking at like different activities to do with your like it's like at this point it's like anything you could do inside? Is that kind of what we're looking for?
Yeah,
Anything,
anything to manage energy and enrichment, the welfare needs indoors when you can't go outdoors. So, I mean, we're talking about extreme temperatures, but it could also be a dog that is, recovering, right? And they're more limited, can't go outside or whatever. But yeah.
Because the other one that I used to do this when I lived in Utah, like when it was extreme heat and stuff, is the frozen, I call it the archaeological bucket, where you take like a Home Depot bucket and you line it with parchment paper so that it comes out easy. And then you fill it with different layers and you put like the bottom layer might be like blueberries with the water. So that freezes and then they get the treat. And then if they break down the ice, like then there's like a rope sticking out the bottom so they can pick it up. And so it's a little messy. It
I
depends
bet.
because like when we did it, it was they could have it in the runs. So like if they took it out in the sand, whatever,
Oh, yeah.
it was gross. But like even in the runs, it was in like easy to squeegee out or just leave it and they slipped everywhere and had a great time. But but the frozen like not just a small frozen treat, like a giant frozen toy. Where it's
Yeah.
because for an extreme temperature, that's something you could do on a deck. If it's a shaded deck or whatever. But that hits like the foraging, it also hits nutrition, depending on again what you put in it, it could hit. But that's what I love and my dogs love. Or like filling up the baby pool with just going to the dollar store and getting ice, just filling it up with all the ice and then like throwing stuff in there. And then once the ice is melted, they play in the water and it's a double toy and it's and it's safe to drink and you don't have to worry. And then you just dump it out and it's great.
Yeah.
But ice games are like my favorite. And it's fun for kids too, by the way, the ice games, because then they're responsible during the summertime to go to the fridge after like an hour and add the next layer so that they're entertained.
Oh yeah, Carl.
Carl.
Jody just put Carl in there. We
Yeah.
forgot about Carl. Carl's a great indoor activity.
Depending on the dog.
Yes.
Carl might not, depending on the if
Carl
you're
scares a few of my clients' dogs, but
Oh, I was more talking about the destruction. Like
oh.
if when it's not being used with a puppy and it's being used with an adult dog.
Yeah.
But because Carls don't last at my house longer than a few minutes before they're completely beheaded and destuffed. It's like 30 seconds.
Yeah, my Carl has no nose, no ears, and no eyes.
Yeah. Mine doesn't either. Mine's missing a foot. And
Mine's had his tail has been partially ripped off and then re-sewed on, so it just sticks out like this. It's not down and wagging. He's just like a stiff tail.
Carl looks like a polar bear because we had to sew his mouth shut.
Carl is a good play option for inside.
And
Yeah,
with that,
would that count as interaction with another animal since it's not a real animal?
I would say no. I would say environment. I would say it's an environment, not animal. And then potentially, like if you play with your Carl with your dog, it could be also human interaction. But I would say not other dog, personally. Unless it's a robotic Carl that like barks back, then maybe we could maybe.
Scary.
I would rather not, but if you have one.
That's going to be the next project for whichever group wants it, is to create an indestructible Carl.
Yes.
It's actually being worked on. We actually
Seriously?
yes.
Oh.
It's going to be called Kevlar Carl, and it's going to be made of Kevlar, and it's the actual Carl, but it is made out of Kevlar. So it is actually something that is in the works. The problem is sourcing the material.
I wonder what that will feel like in their mouths.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
I feel like anyway, we'll see. I think that would be fantastic if we could get one.
Because you could also put a sleeve over it. Like, you could buy like it sounds bad, but you could buy carcasses and like slip the carcass over the Kevlar so they're only ripping like if we could find once it's in production, make like slips for it so that they actually get the soft, but they can't get passed into the internal. So, but yes, it is in the works. It is something
that's good.
But that's
There you go. Oh, Kelly has a good idea too.
Yeah.
Dumping buckets of snow into the bathtub or kiddie pool and burying things in there.
Yeah. I love that one too. That's another good like basement or deck activity.
Or bathroom. You can do this stuff in the bathroom if it's cold outside or whatever.
Yeah. Oh yeah, put it in the shower if people walk in.
Yep. So we started off trying to figure out how to fit these items into the 5 domains, and we just added like 20 other ones to the list.
I have something to say. Wait, can you hear me or my dog?
Yes.
Yeah.
I can't get him to shut up. Hang on. It's another dog has something he wants, and I can't get him to stop. But we did talk about just how you just take Amazon boxes and put stuff in it that they can shred. Just the shredding part,
I love the shredding. My clients, I find I have a couple, like I would say half my clients won't do that because they don't want to clean it up.
Clean it up.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I always tell them that that's what children are for, and then they give me dirty looks, but whatever. I'm like,
I just think it's funny because they can't find the
A
time
lot of things. I mean, it's like normal dissecting, like
yeah. Oh, I love it. I think it's great. And I tell my client, like, if when they have kids and they're like, oh, but it's such a mess. I'm like, well, if you tell your kids that, like, whoever picks up the most pieces of box gets a prize, immediately it will be cleaned up. It is. And that's like usually how I get them to participate. If they don't have kids, it doesn't work. But yeah, I
we're
love
doing enrichment right now.
I have, yeah, I brought it up to people. I was just in a house for a rescue for a foster, and they're brand new fosters. They've never done it before, and they have a very tidy house. And I asked them, what industry they're in. One of them's a civil engineer, the other one's a psychiatrist. So we're talking to pretty type A people. And I just asked, I said, do you have a beautiful home? I used to be an interior designer. Is there any way I could talk you into letting one room get trashed twice a week? And they're like, sure. And so, yeah, trying to just find that sweet spot for some of these people. It's like, hey, come summer, you don't have to do this if you don't want to, because you can get out more, or you can, you know what I mean? But right now, what do we do? And I think Danielle had a really good point that there are a lot of these things that people don't like to do because it makes them so uncomfortable, because it adds a different layer. And yet they're asking us to remove layers of behavior and to offer training solutions, when I'm saying literally just let your dog help you deconstruct some cardboard for the recycle bin, and you don't have to go anywhere. You know what I mean? So that there's that art of getting into people and finding out what's really truly motivating them. It's like, do you want the dog, or do you want, some magic answer?
Yeah.
So it's interesting. We had, I truly believe it's fine if the dogs lick the plates if you put them down after dinner.
Yeah, me too.
Yogurt containers, all of that stuff. And I don't, and we don't have anything like that on the list here, but it could be, yeah, it's still training, but it's also a little bit of food, and it's also, some layer of just sharing your meal with your dog.
Yes, I think it's social too, because you're sharing your thing. I think the key for people is to put a structure around that. So that only happens.
PPP there, and then you're in good shape.
Yep, I was just gonna say it's a PPP.
Yeah.
You only get the plate after you've like relaxed over there while we're eating.
Right. Or we only do it in this space. Right. Whatever it works for. But I think, a lot of people have been really reluctant to do that. I've met some of the nicest dogs at a hiker hostel that could, lick 40 plates clean, and think about what that did for the environment. Didn't put it down the disposal and have to go through all of that. So I think that's a good ad, possibly.
Yeah, I like that one too.
Yeah.
My dogs, every time I have a yogurt, they all just sit there like this, like, oh, we're gonna get to lick it. And like sometimes it's like lemon and raspberry, and they're like licking it, and they're like, I don't like it. And I'm like, well, you wanted it, like you asked, and I gave it to you. It's not my fault that you don't like the flavor.
And then there's the almost empty peanut butter jar.
Oh, that's what I just give my dogs those. I don't.
The peanut butter jars are key, and licky mats are great too. So, most of my clients would never in a million years let their dogs lick their plates, but they might dump their leftovers onto a licky mat for their dog to enjoy.
That's so much more work. That is so silly.
It is. Although you can just toss it in the dishwasher, so it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
But no, there's no, I have clients, as I may have said before, the shoes come off the minute you go in the house. There's a mat at the front door for their dogs to wipe their feet. They have these beautiful, pristine homes, and they get these like golden retrievers that shed everywhere, which I think is hilarious. And they're like, oh no, that dog's not coming to my bed. So they like things a certain way. It's really hard to come up with creative solutions sometimes because they don't want things messed up. I've been lucky. My most recent clients, I think, are a little more willing to push that boundary a little bit and get a little dirty and allow for a little bit of mud and paper strewn across the house. But I can remember several clients that are just like, absolutely not.
Well,
There's
I always
no
tell
way.
people too, like you have I said this even before like coming into like the legs community is like you got to compromise with your dog. Like you can't like you don't they're if you want to look at them as purely like a roommate, like you don't just go into a house and it's your way or the highway, you have a roommate, you have to compromise on some things. And that's like the like because I've had so many of the same people. It's like I'm like, why did, and because again, as some of you have been, I'm kind of mean to my clients and I don't know why they like me, but like, I'll be like, why did you get a dog? Like,
I'm the same. I'm too old to like. I'm just gonna say it, and I don't. I just we're saving everybody's time. They're
right.
paying me by the hour. We're saying, and so I will say that I'm like, you guys, we're gonna get cut straight to this, and this might bum you
I
out.
love it.
You're paying for my time, and I don't want to waste your money. So I'm just gonna say this.
Yeah.
This
I
is a
always laugh like people have been waiting for at this point like 4 months for me to come back to work. I'm like, I don't know why people like me. I'm kind of mean to them.
yeah.
I'm kind of a dick.
Yeah.
And like,
It's so, but it sound Danielle, you sound a lot like me. So
yeah.
again, if you're judgmental, authentic, you can be honest. And again, it doesn't have to be rude, right?
Yeah.
It's like,
It's
you know what?
never
I'm not
meant to be.
judging you. I'm
Yeah.
not judging you, but your dog has not gone off leash in 3 weeks. How would you feel?
Yeah.
Like, I get it, you know? So I think I think that's where just that authenticity comes in because I'm the same way. It's like, well, if you don't want to do this, let's find the dog a new home.
Yeah.
What? Like,
Yeah. But I always laugh. I don't know why people like me. I just am kind of mean. But yeah.
I think it's important to work on being able to say that stuff. Like, so I think that if it is difficult for you to say that stuff, I think it's worth us as a group helping people figure out their way of being able to be honest about that stuff because sitting around and getting paid over and over again to come over and, work around the edges when we know we're not getting to the root of the problem, which is that they aren't shifting their home behavior at all. Like finding a way to be brave enough to say that stuff and maybe practicing at home with whoever you need to practice that with, like so that it comes out of your mouth in a way that feels authentic to you. I think it's a worthy pursuit. Because
Yeah,
that's
preference.
I found in my experience, you can say pretty much anything to anyone if you do it kindly enough.
You just smile. If you just smile and act like you'd like yeah, I agree. I think if you can, depending on who it is and how you like the exact wording you use, you can say be a dick with a smile. That's what my dad used to say. But yeah, it's I
but
don't
you
know.
can only talk like that if you've gotten them to laugh, swear, or cry in that first session right away, because you got to get to the real level first.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you definitely cannot do that in the first like 30 seconds. Oh no, absolutely not. Um, but I was gonna talk about something else too. I don't know. I lost my train of thought. My brain is broken.
I'm going to take this down because I don't think we're using it right now. Hold on.
So was this meeting supposed to start at 1 and the time was wrong? And then
Yep.
okay.
Yep, that's it. That's it. Yep. Yep. Which
We
I should
recorded
ask.
the first
Yeah.
half, like the first bit though. So it's
Is
recorded.
I should send a survey out and ask if 2 o'clock is better for people, right? Because it seems like we got kind of a different mix of people at 2 than we do at 1.
My schedule changes fairly often, so I just happen to be able to hear.
I just accidentally turned my phone on. I forgot there was a meeting, and there you were. And if I had done it at 1, if the time was at 2, I wouldn't have seen this.
Yeah. If you do decide to change it, just let me know so I can update the calendars.
Okay.
Because
I'm trying to get rid of this.
um Oh, as far as indoor like activities too, the other thing like um that it made me think of it because I moved beds that were upstairs, downstairs and swapped them because they were like stuff was being washed. Um, is swapping like beds with other people and doing like it would be like new smells, new texture, and like putting it like in there, but just doing even like blanket swaps or bed swaps could also be a good indoor if you can swap with like your neighbor or somebody where you don't have to drive. Like if we're talking extreme weather.
So I do something like that with clients that I have clients right now whose dogs are nervous around new people. So for their family gathering, I asked them, I said, I want you to get a piece of clothing from everybody that's going to be here. And we did nose work games so that when people came in, they were a little calmer about it. And it worked really well. And then I have another client and we do clothings or towel swaps with other people in the neighborhood for the dogs. And that seems to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, but that one hits. And you could also do again, depending on what you're swapping, you could put that in pretty much every category.
Yeah.
Like, I used to do it with puppies and other animals. But when we went out in Utah, it's like we take cat blankets from Cat World, blankets from horses, blankets from the birds, and they'd like give it to them and have them keep it in their area for like, a week, as long as the animal was healthy, and then bring it back and give it to the puppies, and they loved it. So, but I think blanket swaps is another one for weather, because you can do, I had a client, she took it to an extreme level. She had So those like accordion file box things? So she would take like towel, like a washcloth or like a hand towel, and she'd do the different things and do the stuff, and then she would vacuum seal it and she would put it in the little folder, and then she had them labeled so that like depending on what she was doing, she could pull out cat scent or she could pull out a goat or she could pull out like her neighbors. She took it to an extreme. Like because I suggested like doing a blanket swap. And then I came and she's like, "Look at my blankets." And I was like, "I don't understand what's happening." And then she showed me that she had them like all labeled and she had like it was like an accordion file box full of, and then when she was done with it, she would just put it back in and seal it and like use it 2 or 3 times. And like it was nuts. She took it like way farther than I.
That's pretty brilliant,
It
actually.
was it was a
I like
genius,
it.
but it was a little bit like, okay, well, I have to be careful now when I suggest things because you're gonna take it like 37 steps in the wrong direction or like in the right direction, and then people are going to think this is what I expect from my clients, and I'm gonna but
So what was the result of that though? Was it just so that the dog had more sniffing opportunities and that it was, working through foraging, or is it socialization?
it
I mean,
was so I originally started doing it for the puppies in my care for social like for just an enrichment since they couldn't go to the different areas
right.
in the sanctuary, so that's where I started it. She had like a hound, like a beagle mix thing that loved to use his nose, and she lived in like, sorry, my old man is having a dream. You might hear howling here in a second. Um, but she lived in like an apartment with like a beagle thing, and they did go out and do adventures, but she had a demanding job where she worked from home. So she couldn't get out for like really long stuff during the week when it was like getting dark early and like that stuff. So this was more for she would take it and like do like a foraging where she would like wrap treats and then like shove it somewhere and let him like go and search and like find it in like the closet and pull it out or shove it under the couch cushions or like something. So that's where she was using it as like an exciting scent that led to a game so that like if she was on a call, he could like track it, and then he would just spend like 15 minutes sniffing it and like rolling on it depending on what it was. So we used it for foraging and we used it for just scent enrichment.
Okay. Yeah, I was just curious if they're, with the ones where Dolores, you were talking about the people that came with the dog with that. What did they, I mean, I know it made it easier in some ways, but did they have any result that you would do it again because it was successful?
I do it with quite a few clients, and it helps take it gives it a sense of familiarity. So if I have a dog that's fearful or bitey, we'll do something like that. So people coming in, it's not as shocking to the dog, right? The odor coming in is not as new or novel, and it does help. I
Yeah.
at least I think it does with decreasing the dog's anxiety
I think
when
that there's
something new is
actually a lot
coming
of
in.
science there's a lot of
Mhm.
science on that. I think
Yeah.
there's a lot of proof that that smell can make a world of difference in
Mhm.
so many ways
So it's
to
kind of, yeah. So the pre-smell helps with some of the anxiety that they're feeling
Yeah.
about the thing or the person or
It's kind
just
of
in
like
general.
recognition, right? Like
Yeah,
I have
yeah.
one client, their two grandchildren both have some medical issues, right? So when they come in, there will be a different odor than a typical child. So
Mm-hmm.
we brought the stuff in, we play fun scent games. And then my client went so far, excuse me, we have a cat on the, it's just my day, guys. Now we have the cat in here. Um, where she went so far as to name the odor. So she would say, "Oh, this is Becky's." And when the child came in, she would say, "Oh, this is Becky. Do you remember
Mm-hmm.
whatever?" And it really did seem to help decrease that energy level from the dog. Um, doesn't mean the dog loves children, but
No.
is comfortable with them, which is really all
Well,
we cared about. Mhm.
right. I mean, and it is the energy of that initial reaction is the one that have the hardest time controlling.
Right.
So, or dealing with. All right. Well, that's interesting. I would love to see some of the science on that, especially for some of these reactive dogs, and I think it would also assist in maybe some of that socialization that that buddy walk that was being talked about. Hey, we're going to go out with Fido. Fido's here. We've kind of smelled it around, and you can do maybe that'll shorten the super long
Mhm.
or wide parallel walk back into something else. So, okay.
I think it absolutely can. I name absolutely every single thing for
Mhm.
dogs constantly, and
Yeah.
it blows people away how well it can work. And again, some dogs are better than others, but yeah, it is. It's like that's neighbor dog. That's neighbor dog that was walking right there. Let's go smell neighbor dog that you hate. And
Yeah.
neighbor dog, you get to go now. You get to smell him. That's neighbor dog. You're safe, but you still don't have to go meet him. But you can
Right.
smell where he was.
Yeah. Yeah. I do a
Yeah.
lot of that. Yeah. But I just had never done it with an article. And yeah. Okay. Thanks.
You're going to be very busy typing all this up, Lisa.
We can split it up, Lisa. You don't have to do it all.
Does the meeting not save? Does it not save AI? Is it not save the meeting?
I
I
Dolores
don't.
set
Yeah.
this link up.
It's a
Yeah.
Yeah.
fantastic thing. It's a fantastic thing. Yeah, I'd highly, oh my God.
It came from all of you guys. I didn't do it. I just put it together and typed it up.
Mhm.
And I'm going to have to add a whole bunch more on there. And we're still going to have to go back and look at the different domains and everything.
Well, Lisa, you could also just create it as a Google Doc and share it with everybody and get
Yes, and
everybody.
let everybody just add it. I think that's what
Yeah.
I'm going to end up doing
I would
because
do just so that stuff doesn't get deleted, make it so that people can just suggest but can't actually edit, because then you can go through and
yeah,
approve without it actually changing any, because that way, because some people, me included, have been known to click on things and then all of a sudden it's gone and I
I
have
do
to,
it all the time.
yeah, and then I have to go and find the revised version and try to figure out which one it was. So
Yeah. Okay. That's a good idea. We could actually make a game out of it. Pick the domains that the behaviors fit into. Um, sort of like Dolores's bingo.
Yeah.
Pick the domain.
Everything can be bingo.
Yeah.
bingo for everything.
Bingo for everything.
Maybe we could just make a meeting with the game. And the ethogram. Pick the ethogram and the domain. And we'll get it all set up.
And
We'll
once
get
the
it
app
together.
comes out, hopefully, and then, fairly soon, we'll have access to the full ethogram that'll have all the behaviors underneath.
Yeah.
Versus just the game, which doesn't have them all.
Right.
So
Right. Yeah, that will definitely be helpful.
Awesome. I have to pop off. I have another meeting I have to jump on here in a few minutes, and I need to get some stuff for it. But this was great. I'm super excited.
Yeah, we'll get this together.
Thanks,
I'll
yeah.
figure it all out and keep everyone posted.
I like the idea of it being more of a living document so we can just continually add to it.
Okay.
What are we doing?
Do you have any other suggestions, ideas, things that you do with clients for indoor stuff when the weather is extreme?
I feel like that no matter what to plan for anything, the more that you know about the dog, like we know the breed, but I mean, goodness, the one that was here today, I bet you she's got like a gazillion breeds in her. And no matter what the breed, to me, we're also so there's so much involved with where they come from. And that just makes a, you know, every time I'm with her, I'm learning more what I can do for her. So the more that we learn about dogs ahead of time, that's kind of half the challenge of where you want to start is really getting to know them, not learning something and the client's like, oh yeah, they've been doing this forever. Or like for example, this one, I think I might have mentioned in the last time I was talking that, you know, when she saw me, I talked about sitting on the floor with the dog and saw me with her dog. When I went down, the dog came right up and curled with me, and then she was calming down more. She said she was only doing, I know she said twice a day, like a snuggle or close time with the dog, right? Like there's just it's things that you don't always think about. So the more you know ahead of time, the way easier it is to plan. Like if there was even a way, like the app might help, right? Like looking for the behaviors for sure. It's a challenge, like the more because now this is the second time I've done this kind of thing with this dog alone. I'm definitely thinking of how I can manage that time, like you say, to give her her money's worth, right? This is a high priced item that I'm looking to make to work with, and I really like the idea, but I want them to be valuable. I want it to be valuable for sure. You know, I can just play with a dog easy all day. That's not a problem for me. But, you know, getting the things in that they need, it's really helpful. Yeah, I love it. Play is my favorite thing. And I think it's like I said, it's play is powerful. It's way more than simply play. Just like enrichment has always been to me, way more than what I think a lot of people think it's. To me, it's really it's a way deeper word than just one thing. And I still tell people to go back, think going back to kids. When we compare it to raising kids and what we go through, you know, and as we get older and learn more and more, this stuff is super powerful. And I think it can be very helpful. And the regulation, the schedule of making sure that they get to know when the dog is getting overtired. That's another thing I think that's really, really important. I don't know if that was mentioned, but recognizing those signs for any kind of play or socialization in the because then you end up with real trouble sometimes. You're tired now. Lots of excitement, hey guys. Can anybody send some heat this way? Because I'm tired of this. And if I feel like every time I feel stressed out and want to go crazy, just get out and do something, I think about how a dog feels all the time. I like your cat.
No, he's been very annoying right now.
That's pretty funny. I miss cats. I like cats.
Well, he thinks he's a dog, really. He's So Lisa, how many things do you think we have on our list now?
There's 100.
I'll tell you in a minute.
Okay.
$20.
20.
Yeah, including the ones that we originally had.
Cool. Cool.
Yeah. So we have 20. We'll figure out a way to get everyone to be able to place them into the domains. And I guess we have to wait for the ethograms unless we can somehow get those from Jamie so we can align everything. And then we'll have a really good document to share.
I think if we just started with the domains, right, and list things, in the categories, and then maybe then we could go back and add the ethogram stuff.
Yeah.
Right. So at least just having the basic.
Yeah, I don't know if we could do that all on the same document. I think we'll definitely have to
I think it would have to be
have a
broken
couple.
up. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, sounds good. Well, you guys had some great ideas. Very excited to put this all together.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it when it's all done. I think it's going to be such a great resource and a good springboard for people to come up with other ideas. I mean, that's one of the things I love about this kind of stuff is it helps me think of different ways to either integrate it or the next step, or I'll suggest it to a client and they'll have a really great spin on it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think everybody wins. Our clients, the dogs certainly will win because they're going to have a lot of fun stuff to do when they're stuck inside. And, this is pretty easy stuff. Like, yeah, I was just thinking as we were talking through them, is it realistic to ask our clients to do these things? And yeah, I think the majority of them are really simple things that they can do for their dogs without much of a setup or anything. So I think we're good.
Good. Well, yeah, I think
I want to bring something up really quick that is a kind of a tangent, but it's been discussed in briefly before in groups and with some other groups I've discussed, is these are the types of things that you could potentially add to your business offerings so that if you have clients that, again, can't do some of this stuff, you offer, I can bring you 6 frozen Kongs a week. I can set up, this type of this or whatever. Again, I'm just spitballing really quickly, but those are some of those things that as we shift in our industry, we might be doing more of, right? And so find ways to, if you can, also earn a living off of it with some clients.
Very good idea.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I was just gonna say, did you guys mention treat balls? Treat balls?
I think I had
we had that.
Yeah, because that's really good for a lot of dogs in the winter. I find it something when you don't have 4. When you have less dogs, this guy would follow it everywhere in the house. Like he would do it, he loved it, and they all have different ways of doing it too. So it's really a fun toy, and just the biggest thing is to tell people to take them away when they're done. Don't leave them so they can be chewed up. Right?
Yeah, the treat balls, the treat dispensers, those are all really fun. For sure. I have to hop off, but I'll be putting everything together.
Awesome. Thank you.
I'll keep you all posted.
All right. And I will post the link to the meeting so people can watch the extended version. And the meeting next week will hopefully, or next month will go off a little bit better. No more Zoom problems. All right, guys. Thank you all. Have a great afternoon. Stay warm.
Bye.
We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.